real good. I smell real good. But most of all, I said I feel real good, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to the Robb Crocker Show. My name is Alex Gonzalez. I want to welcome you to the show and introduce the man himself, Robb Crocker. How are we doing?
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on.
If you did not know that voice, that was someone saving me money by imitating the one and only James Brown.
Exactly.
Thanks to Gonzo. He's always looking out for us.
I'm trying.
Well, I appreciate everybody being here tonight. It's a countdown every week from here on out. 21 days to go. The most important day in all of our lives right now. But before we get started, I want to take a brief second and introduce our first grand prize winner of our t-shirt and hat giveaway and a free dinner at the Vineyard here in Lake Mary, Florida, Mr. Scott, a.k.a. Scooter from Missouri.
Wow.
Thank you for being here, Scooter.
I had no idea I was going to get this, but I really appreciate it, guys.
And of course, joining us as always, also the gift giver today, JB is here in the studio.
I like that name. I'll keep it.
What was that, BJ? Or what was it?
JB.
The gift giver?
The gift giver. JB, same
Giver
thing.
for short's just fine, but yeah.
BJ, gift giver, you know.
It's probably better to be a giver than a taker.
Or receiver.
Absolutely.
Or a taker, a.k.a. receiver is what I was thinking, Scooter. But as we get started tonight, a lot of things have gone on in the past week since we were all here. Milton's hit Florida. Once again, it did tremendous damage to people on the West Coast and the East Coast, and our thoughts and prayers go out to all of them. And from what I can tell to the people on the ground here in Florida, FEMA's nowhere to be seen yet. There's trucks all in truck stop stations all across I-4. I think you've seen them. We've had people out there looking at the damage, trying to figure out what's going on. But there's no organization with FEMA to direct cleanup and get things organized. And I'm not sure if it's the leadership from the president to FEMA, but I know here in Florida, the governor had everything organized, ready to move day one.
Yeah, shout out to Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, well, I think the media wants us to believe that Kamala Harris is actually the one that's in charge, and she's in charge of everything that FEMA's doing. So I think we should give props to her, or I'm using the wrong words here, but, you know.
We should acknowledge that Kamala Harris is in charge of FEMA. That just runs parallel with leaving astronauts at the space station, with taking care of the border. Scooter, have you noticed how many people will just walk across the border?
I have seen a few articles on that.
What do you think about that?
I think it's wrong.
What would you do if you had the opportunity to make a difference at the border?
I would call the National Guard and put them on every square inch of the border at 50 yards in gun posts.
Well, the National Guard only works state to state.
Yeah.
So you would have Texas, Arizona, and all of the states that run across the border. And some of those states have Democratic governors who don't see the need for that.
Okay.
They see us as everything is kumbaya and okay.
But you can federalize the National Guard.
Well, there was a guy who tried to federalize the National Guard, and the Congress would not let him do that. January 6th when he made everybody fair warning, hey, we need people here to prevent chaos.
Which part of the Congress did that?
That would be the same person who said she effed up. That would be the Democratic.
I believe it was both parts of the Congress that fought him tooth and nail on most of the stuff he tried to do.
Well, the thing about it is, I watched our potential vice president nominee, Tim Walz, this weekend go pheasant hunting. Have any one of the three of you...
Oh, that's what it was.
Have
the
any one,
shotgun?
Have any one of the three of you ever been pheasant hunting?
I have.
All right.
I have not, no.
Duck hunting.
Okay.
So, close.
Well, I've been duck hunting. I've been pheasant hunting. I've been quail hunting. And here's the greatest story. We're going to just go all over the place tonight. An old man told me once, he said, Crocker, if you want to go deer hunting, go to your bedroom, go get in your closet, turn the lights out, and sit there for 4 hours and come out because you didn't shoot a deer. If you want to go pheasant hunting, go to a golf course, grab your clubs, hit your ball, chase your ball around for 4 hours. And if you want to go duck hunting, go to the bar with your friends, sit at the end of the bar, and wait for all the hot chicks to come in. So guess what I do? I duck hunt. Tim Walz couldn't even pheasant hunt. He couldn't walk. He couldn't load his shotgun. It's a joke. He should have, if they were going to do this to be correct, he should have taken out an over and under, threw it over his shoulder, walked around, and did this. Today, there was an interview with him. He's wearing a black and red wool jacket. I saw it. The only thing I could think of was Elmer Fudd from Bugs Bunny, man.
Now, you have duck hunted several times, correct?
More than once.
How many shells can you put in a shotgun when you're duck hunting?
Legally,
Legally, yes.
that would be 3.
Did you notice how many shells he put in his gun?
He should be fined. But guess what won't happen? Because the media don't even know what to do. The media, what kind of gun is that, Governor?
It was an assault shotgun.
Well, it was an A400. You take the plug out, it has the ability to do multiple things. You can put a full choke in it, and you can light a lot of people up. But if you put a modified choke in there, and you got the plug in there with 3 rounds, you can shoot a couple of pheasants. But guess what they didn't do? Not one person pulled the trigger. So either they had a shitty guide, they were somewhere there weren't roosters, because I don't want to spend money, I don't want to waste my time going hunting unless I shoot something.
Did you even see a dog? Because I didn't.
I think his wife might have been there. Sorry.
I think they were just trying to back up the point that
He is manly.
well, that he owns a gun too. Because remember, Kamala Harris said, "I'm a gun owner."
She's got a Glock.
Supposedly, which one? I don't know, but she has a
Miss
Glock.
Waltz, I do apologize to you. I've never really looked at you, but I don't know if you're good looking or bad looking or a dog or whatever. So I take that back. Not really, but kind of.
I'm not gonna attack her looks, but she's definitely on the same.
She's a dumb bitch.
The same wavelength
She's dumb.
as her husband.
My God. All right. We have talked about the emulation of Richard Simmons by Tim Walz. The excitement. And there's nothing wrong with being excited. I get excited. We all get excited. But we don't walk around looking like seals, clapping, pointing, acting crazy. So, what's the substance that they're selling to any of us? Because every time I see her out, Kamala is smiling. Is she smiling because of her insecurities of not knowing what's going on? What is she hiding?
The fact that she's a terrible person. They're all trained to do that too. Smile and wave, kiss babies, be
Say nothing
normal.
substantial.
Right.
Well, 21 days away from right where we sit tonight, there's 2 different visions. There's a vision of prosperity, or there's a vision of the 3.5 years of misery that you have been living. High groceries, high fuel, the border being bombarded. We are being invaded, and no one is even acknowledging that. The safety of this country is probably less than it's been since 9/11. No one knew about 9/11, but 9/11 happened. So guess what it did, Scooter? It opened everybody's eyes, and everybody cared. We had wars where we spent tons of money, and now we have regressed to where anybody and everybody can come across the border unvetted. We had the Afghanistan shit show where people just left. Man, it's disheartening when you see people who are in so much pain, Gonzo, jumping on a plane, holding on, knowing their peril is death, because they're not getting on. They're jumping on, holding on to the wheels. They're on the wings. That plane wasn't stopping. So, as I say so frequently, fear no man, fear no evil. Well, they wanted to leave Afghanistan pretty bad, and the United States government abandoned all of those people. Plus the unfortunate people, the American soldiers who lost their life that day as well.
I think the issue with, speaking about the comparison you made, 9/11, you're right. No one was expecting something like this to happen until planes flew into buildings. Then they were like, okay, we need to do something to make sure this doesn't happen again. Right now, we have millions of immigrants, illegals, coming through the border.
Fighting age males.
Right. And right now, they're not doing anything, according to the media. So if you turn on the TV, nothing's happened. But unfortunately, it takes that catastrophic event before people go, oh, maybe this was a bad idea. Maybe this is bad, and then we should do something about it. So it's not until it's too late before people realize, oh, shoot, maybe we should close our borders.
Do you know what the media hasn't covered since colleges have gone back to campus? Is all of the Palestinian protests. Well, they haven't stopped. The media has stopped covering it because it hurts Kamala Harris's campaign. Just yesterday morning, before the stock market opened, there was protesters chaining themselves to the door so the stock market could not open. The people are out there, and unfortunately, you have a biased media. The acronyms ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC. They are manipulating what you're hearing and what you're seeing. It's no different than what CBS did on 60 Minutes. I remember growing up as a kid, Scooter, where 60 Minutes was a valuable piece of information that old people watched.
There's only 3 channels back in, too.
Well, and I guess what's happened? Tell me what's happened since back then.
Well, there's lots of channels, but they all
I don't
lean
want to hear
the
about
left.
channels. I want to hear about what's happened since then. What has the population of this country allowed to take place?
Almost, we're borderline communists now. In power.
Which means what?
I don't know what you're asking me.
I'm asking you, when you have people who are children who leave their house and go to colleges, they graduate with degrees in media or whatever it may be to allow them to get a job at one of these networks. This person at this network goes in front, they've got people behind them putting their show together for them, and I've only got JB Gonzo, so you get what you get with me. But so these are the people who are putting the shows together.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it doesn't matter.
So the talking head is telling the agenda that the owner, the
Script
the
reading.
paycheck.
The script is played out.
Yeah.
So when 60 Minutes ask JB, What's the color of the sky?
Well, I have to read the teleprompter, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But then if the teleprompter didn't tell you what you wanted to say,
Deer in headlights now.
the news media has manipulated what the consumer or the person watching the show actually hears. So,
Well, I come from a middle class family.
I was gonna say that's the go-to answer if the teleprompter's not working. Where'd you come
Yeah.
from? Middle class family. Jared?
Well, I came from a middle class family, and then she kind of just stops and starts rambling, and then it never ends. And then, I mean, it's happening all over the place, right? It's not just 60 Minutes like that debacle there. Like even SNL is making fun of her. I mean, if SNL is attacking the people they vote for, it's kind of what are we looking at in 21 days, right?
well, 21 days, there's going to be names on a ballot to where you get to decide. And I know that people don't personally like Donald Trump. There's people who personally don't like Kamala Harris. But you have to ask yourself, why is it that you don't like them? Because he's this, she's that. Well, let's look at the facts. Donald Trump did more in 3 years for the economy, for African American young voters. The lowest unemployment that the African Americans have seen. Then this week, you have former President Obama come out and belittle.
The brothers, which I thought was rude.
I think he used a different word that I can't use. But even at that, these are men who are in a situation to where they want a better life. They've had Kamala Harris. They've had Joe Biden for 3.5 years. So why, all of a sudden, is their life going to be better? It's not. Quit. Just quit drinking the tea.
Or the Kool-Aid. I think that
Yeah.
Purple drink.
That used to be PJ, by the way.
If you even go back
Not
to
BJ.
even if you go back to Obama, I mean, technically looking at Biden was in there for 4 years as vice president himself. This is only like continuation. She got reelected.
yeah,
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I forgot.
Imagine that. I didn't forget. You have two choices. High crime, high prices, no fuel, no leadership. People stranded in western North Carolina. People whose houses can't get surveyed by FEMA. Military personnel across the world with no leadership and no respect from other countries. Donald Trump is the only president in the past, let's just say 30, 40 years, not a single conflict, no war. Is it because they were scared of him? Is it because they thought he was crazy? I don't have a problem seeing Donald Trump shaking Kim Jong-un's hand at the border. Kumbaya. That's great for America.
Which they just blew up today.
Yes. They blew up the train track.
Don Miller in the chat says, "Preach, preach, brother. Keep going."
Well, I learned from the best, Miller. I appreciate everything you've ever done for me, by the way. And I still have my sponsorship from coconut oil. But what I'm trying to get out, 21 days, it does not matter whether you're a white individual, woman or man, a black man or black woman, Hispanic man, Hispanic woman. It does not matter. The country is weaker today than we've ever been since 1976. So when early voting's going on, There was 228,000 people who voted in Georgia today.
Yeah, they just opened today.
So you have the opportunity to go vote. But when you go vote, don't waste your time.
Yeah, actually, what you can do is we'll share a link for this beautiful document that JB created with all the people that are you're supposed to vote for. I mean, we're not going to tell you to vote, but I think it's a great suggestion based on the list he made.
Yeah, basically we download the ballots in the local counties and pre-fill them out.
Yeah, at least for
We'll
us
send
in
it to our
Seminole
friends and
County.
family, you know, make sure there's no questions when you go there, you know.
And it's quicker.
It made it much faster.
Well, the governor of Virginia, Youngkin, smart man, he wanted to get illegal voters, people who are not United States citizens, off the register so they could not go vote. And by doing that, Scooter, the Department of Justice has sued the state of Virginia for a governor standing up and doing what's right.
Not only know what's right, he's enforcing a state law.
He's enforcing the Constitution. Good God. It ain't a state law. You can't vote unless you're an American citizen. Get away from the bullshit.
Which is a state law in Virginia.
It's a federal law. So I'm going to give you your state law, pat you on the ass, Scooter, so we agree. You happy?
Do that off camera, please.
But it's just disheartening. It's disingenuous for people who have been elected officials, Gonzo, to want to see this happen. The reason they want to see this happen is because they want Kamala Harris to win. They want Kamala Harris to win. They want Tim Walz to win. Tim Walz, within the past week, has stated that he wants to get rid of the Electoral College. The Electoral College is what gives the person in Nebraska their vote to mean just as much as the person in New York City.
Yes.
Or California, right, Jared?
No.
The Electoral College is what saves the states.
Yes.
Without the Electoral College, you would have California, New York.
And not even just the states, the small cities that are extremely high population, like Los Angeles or New York City, that are actually running the states in terms of voting. Because if you look at it on a map, little blue dot here, little blue dot here, the rest is red. But because of the numbers of all these people that are packed into these cities,
You're talking,
it
quit
switches
being
the vote
politically
off.
correct.
I'm not,
It's
that's how
New
it is.
York City, it's Philadelphia,
That's what
it's
I'm saying.
LA, it's all the freaks, it's all the homeless, it's all the bullshit that everybody has to get their head out of their ass and say, I don't want them to represent me. I want somebody who actually genuinely cares. Maybe I don't say it perfectly, but I know that I stand for all. I don't stand for few. And what's disingenuous is you can go grab a person in one of these cities with purple hair or with, there's probably lots of people with purple hair that are great. But I'm just saying, go to these cities where the homeless, where all of these things have been occurring. They've all been run by Democratic politicians. If they really cared, how is it today, 21 days from now, they care about you? But 21 days from now, they care about you. Why haven't they cared about you for the past 50 years? Go to an African American neighborhood. Guess who makes the most money?
Well, to be fair,
Guess who makes the most money, Gonzo? It's the funeral home.
yeah, but to be fair, they care about you every 4 years.
But the funeral home cares about you every day because
true.
there's a young African American dying because of the policies that this country has in place right now. And they can all go by the wayside. People with jobs, people with money aren't stealing from other people. The opportunities have to be there. When you ship our jobs overseas and there's nothing for someone to do, what is it you learned when you were a kid? Idle time creates trouble. Your hands get busy. When young men have the opportunity to play sports, young girls, young men, young girls have the opportunity to wear boys club, girls club, Boy Scout, Girl Scout, and you convolute it all to where you want girls to be in Boy Scouts, boys to be in Girl Scouts. The simplest thing is go back to the Bible. Go back to where it all started. And you'll start solving so many of the problems the United States of America has. Quit trying to make everybody happy. Telling JB what he wants to hear. Telling Scooter what he wants to hear. Telling Gonzo what he wants to hear.
Sounds a lot like a dictatorship.
Well, Jesus isn't a dictator. He's given everybody the opportunity to be saved, walk on this planet, walk in this country, and have an opportunity, if it's in front of you, to succeed. But if that opportunity is not there, you're never going to succeed. We are being sold a bag of goods. Slavery is what's being sold to us by the Democratic Party. And everybody's scared to say it. I'm not scared to say it, because that's what's being told to you. When the former president of the United States of America, who's an American man, tells young African American men, if you don't vote black, it's a problem. It's no different than what Joe Biden did 4 years ago.
Yep.
So, will Donald Trump get all of the African American votes? No. But will African Americans wake up and see the opportunity that Donald Trump presents for them?
No.
Well, why won't they?
They're ingrained. They love the plantation.
ABC, CBS, NBC. The best thing that's going on for Donald Trump this year and the Republican Party and everyone is there's a greater opportunity for people to find news, media that they need to see. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. 4 years ago, Donald Trump was banned on
X.
/ Twitter,
Yeah.
which everyone on the liberal side is throwing Elon Musk under the bus right now. Elon Musk could be the smartest individual in the world because he isn't sitting idle by. I don't know if you guys saw what he did this weekend with SpaceX. He managed to launch a rocket that didn't explode, and he managed to bring the rocket back
A big rocket.
and put it back
That thing was, yeah,
where
massive.
it left from.
I think it's one of the biggest rockets ever launched.
Yeah, it was bigger than Saturn V.
Yeah.
So he, with all of his team's help, put that together. Why would the government not want? Well, the government is, because the government has to have him send the spaceship back to bring 2 astronauts that went to space station already. So utilize the people in this country who bring value to America.
But that's government's biggest downfall. They want bureaucrats to run stuff that have no experience doing anything except shuffling papers.
Well, we even saw that with the hurricane Helene. Citizens were trying to help each other, and they were getting blocked by FEMA and the federal government because they didn't want that to happen.
Look at Katrina.
Yeah.
Look at the idiot Bush put in charge. He did show horses, but he's a pretty good old boy. It's no different between any party.
Yeah.
You have to kill the bureaucracy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And which I think is great that he's wanting to get Elon and maybe Kennedy. I'm not real keen on him on some of his stuff, but Elon's strictly business. He keeps what works, gets rid of the rest.
Yeah. When you put up Kennedy against pretty much 90% of the people that are already in office, It's a no-brainer too. You know.
Tulsi Gabbard.
I like her.
Guess what? She's not.
A Democrat anymore?
Or a he, she. How, and I try to be as kind and genuine. I really don't care what anyone chooses to do with their personal life. What I care about is that person being in a role that does not emulate the values of an American citizen. Do I think 4, 6, 8-year-old children should be sitting in drag shows? No. Do I think that we should have an individual in the United States military representing all of the enlisted people? As I said last week, more poor people in the United States enlist in the services, and they are the ones who protect all of the elitists.
Particularly from the Southeast.
Yes. But the elitist, as they so eloquently said, in the western mountains of North Carolina, they won't go out and vote. I don't know. Have any of you guys been to Asheville?
No.
No.
Okay. Have you been, Gonzo?
No.
You were scheduled to go.
Kind of, yeah.
All right. Well, I've been there.
Almost.
I've been to Asheville through decades. I've seen Asheville in the 70s. I've seen it in the 80s. I've seen it in the 90s. I've seen it in the 2000s. And I've seen where it is today. It has progressed into a liberal city. 80% of the art district, which includes artists, craft beer, music venues, and things like that, were destroyed when the storm went through there. But you know who's there helping and picking all this up?
The white trash.
There you go. There's over 100,000 people right now that are displaced.
As they are considered by other people.
Not by me
No.
or you or probably anybody at this room. But the thing about it is they're not getting any help from the federal government. The people who are helping them is the churches, Samaritan Purse. And I watched helicopters go in, go out. There's over 600 roads that are not passable. They still don't have power. They just now are getting water back. So, but you haven't seen it on the news. You don't see it on all of the acronyms. But where you do see it is when the United States of America goes to Israel and we build a pier within weeks so ships can dock to give food and supplies to Pakistan. Explain to me why the people of Western North Carolina don't matter as much as the people in Israel and Pakistan. Somebody.
Because they're white.
I think part of it too is there's no benefit to the people that are in charge.
No, you've already
And-
got them under your thumb. What are they going to do?
Yeah. There's no benefit. We've witnessed what I believe is basically money laundering happening in Ukraine.
Yes.
Now in Israel. I mean, all the wars that we've been through, essentially. How does it benefit them to help the people of North Carolina, South Carolina? What are they going to get out of it? And that sounds like terrible to say, but it's true. These people don't care about you until it's election time, then they pretend to care about you.
And that big pier we built over there that cost, I think it was $81 million, lasted 3 months before it was completely destroyed by a storm that came in.
Well, right now, unfortunately, there's 251 people who've lost their lives in 7 states because of the past storms. There's still 90 people missing in Western North Carolina.
It shocks me that the number's that low.
Could be higher. But when you visually see the destruction that's there in Western North Carolina, It's heartbreaking. It doesn't even make sense why there's not. North Carolina has Fort Liberty, excuse me, should be Fort Bragg, but I guess we're going to be woke. Fort Liberty, Camp Lejeune, all the military bases that you have in the Southeast. There's no reason that we haven't gone there and helped these people. No reason at all. Other than the federal government has let the people down. And that's what everybody has to remember in 21 days. If your life right now was in peril, could you count on this Biden-Harris, which, as Biden has said over and over, Harris is my administration. Could you count on Kamala Harris coming to save you, coming to save your family's life? And if you don't answer yes to that, you got to vote for Trump.
Okay, at what point did we decide, okay, the government needs to come rescue me? When did that happen?
When people can't take care of themselves anymore, Scott.
Why can't they? Because Uncle Sugar keeps throwing money at them?
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Sugar, parents stop teaching children how to do stuff. And when children can't do things, children can't take care of themselves. Elder people, I had a good conversation this afternoon with a friend of mine, and he told me, he said, Crocker, my grandmother used to tell me, there's going to be a time when you're going to have to live off the land again. And there's going to be people who are not going to know how. Not know how to farm. Not even know what a chicken looks like other than something that comes from the grocery store.
Yeah. I think the point you were trying to get at is when the government gives you a check, for example, for whatever reason, whether you're disabled, whether it's food stamps, whatever it is, if you become reliant on that, you're screwed when that check doesn't come in.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think COVID should be a great example of that.
Absolutely.
When an individual, well, I don't know if any of you guys have seen the pictures or remember, but when people didn't have money, they didn't have jobs, there were soup lines.
Mm-hmm.
They went and had their little bowl out. Hey, master, can I get a bowl of partridge? Can I get a piece of bread? It's closer than people think,
mm-hmm.
and they don't realize it. Everyone sees, and they look around. There's 3 activities that could happen right now, real quick, and we'd be right there. In China, they shut down all of the electro systems. What's that
EMP.
called? Yeah. Done. People can't get around unless that pretty much.
You're screwed.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Cybertruck ain't working. But we are very vulnerable, and so many people are in a position to where they don't realize it, Gonzo.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't grow food, can't eat. If you don't know how to raise food, can't eat. Don't raise food to feed the things you're growing and raising, can't eat. Can't catch fish, can't eat. So ask yourself once again, am I reliable on the government? If you're relying on the government, you better vote for Trump. Because Trump actually cares about all. And everyone's going to get hung up about women's right. He cares about all. He did what he did to put it in the state's hands. When it's in the state's hands, it's in the voters' hands. The voter votes for the members of House and Senate in that state. They're the ones who pass the law. There is no quote-unquote dictator, as like everyone likes to say.
And if you don't like it, move.
Move to a
Hell,
different...
I've moved to find a job.
You've actually lived in California.
Yeah, it was absolutely miserable. And I lived in the nice part of California.
Explain to us why it was miserable, Scooter.
Because the state, whether federal or state governments, is in your business about everything. Where I lived, 13 miles from Oregon, right on the California coast. Anything west of Highway 101, you had to go through a completely made-up bureaucracy called the California Coastal Commission to do anything to that property. To build a house where I lived, probably worse down south, you had $20,000 in impact fees and all that kind of stuff before you ever drove the first nail. 20 grand before you drove the first nail.
Who got that money?
I'm guessing Kamala when I lived out there, because she was in office.
Is that? I'm not going there. But I just did notice, Gonzo, JB, I think I have seen a shirt that tops Don Miller's. Have you seen the Rocky Mountain shirt that Scooter wore in here to compete with Don Miller tonight? I just noticed that.
I think he's in the lead now.
He is in the lead.
This is way better looking shirt than what Don did.
You're in the lead. I gave you. You're in first place right now. So congratulations.
Thank you.
But what no one else is talking about is there's only been 2% of the money allocated for North Carolina that's been given out. So that's 98% of the money that the government is not utilizing properly. They're still giving people COVID checks.
Now, is this before or after they found the extra $7 billion that they forgot about?
Whoops.
That's as of today.
That seems to be
Okay.
happening a lot. Oh, $7 billion went unchecked.
We got anybody talking to us tonight, Gonzo?
Don Miller was here for a bit. Luke Roberts as well. Thank you all for joining. Of course, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell too so you can stay updated for all the content we're pushing out. But we are very appreciative of everyone that's been popping in and out, saying hi to us. But we're going to real quickly move on to the next topic. We got time.
All right. Well, this is how great Go Back to Our Government is.
Oh, is that what we were talking about?
We're talking. Hell, we can talk about anything and everything. Let's talk about how wonderful it would be to not have power where I live, and you come by. Hey, Gonzo, man, here's an electric chainsaw, buddy.
Thanks.
So you send
Is it solar?
3 pallets of electric chainsaws to Western North Carolina. That must have been that individual.
Once again, bureaucrats that have no idea how the real world works.
Well, again, without the proper individuals in place, you're going to continue to suffer. If I fall off a boat or a ship out in the ocean, I want a life jacket. Kamala Harris is not your life jacket. She is Joe Biden times 2. You can see the pain of the life you're living right now. You don't need foreshadowing. You don't need to look down the road. Look in the mirror tonight. Do I want to keep living the misery that I'm living?
No.
Scooter,
I can
you're
get
not
by.
that damn dumb.
I can get by.
What he's saying is he can grow his own food.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why we need
you just got to
farmers.
lower your expectations, Rob.
We don't need farmers. Just go to the grocery store. There's
Yeah,
food there.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, there's some people that think that way.
What was it, the governor of New York? Farming's not hard. You just throw stuff in the ground and it grows.
Woo!
Well, I've thrown shit in the ground and I ain't made it grow. You got to have good dirt. You got to have fertilizer. You got to have water. You got to have a lot of parts and pieces. So, but the best part about it is the government can do what they want and no one's going to do anything about it because there's nobody standing up.
Can they do anything about it?
21 days, you can do something about it. Vote and vote right.
Literally.
So when Georgia has election officials being told that they must certify the ballots election night, even if they believe there's fraud that's occurred. That was announced this afternoon. So, JB, you cheated. You beat Scooter.
So once again, can the people actually do anything about it? Because it's a rigged game.
If you make it so overwhelming that Santa Claus has a bag that has 5 million votes and Kamala has a bag that has 1 million, yes, make it so obvious that you come out and you fight for what you believe in and vote for what's right.
What was it Lennon said? It's not how many people vote, it's who counts the votes.
Yes.
All right. Well,
I think the point is, if the election's rigged, what is voting going to do?
And I agree. Absolutely get out there and vote. I'm not saying don't vote.
Yeah.
if you
Because
can't
if it is-
entrust, if the government, if you as an individual, Gonzo, and Scooter, JB, and myself can't entrust in going to vote and getting the truth out of that, everyone needs to stop doing what you're doing. Quit following and drinking the Kool-Aid, as you say.
You just seen what happened 4 years ago, right?
I saw. But you have an opportunity right now to make it so overwhelming to where it's not even plausible that it can happen again. Because as we've talked about, you've got North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Georgia, and Arizona. North Carolina, you mentioned it. You've got Asheville, Raleigh, and Charlotte. Possibly Greensboro. The rest of that state's voting for Donald Trump. There's 100,000 people in western North Carolina right now that are displaced. Are they going to put voting machines in that region so they have the opportunity to vote? Because 100,000 people will make a difference in the state of North Carolina. That'll win or lose that state. So if they do not have the opportunity to vote, it's going to make a difference. Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. Any other big city in Pennsylvania I'm missing?
Those are the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe Hershey. The rest of Pennsylvania is going to vote for Trump. Michigan, Detroit. How in the hell can you live in Michigan and be an auto worker, have a job to where he's wanting you to make money? He's wanting to bring back automotive development and manufacturing in your state. And you're going to believe the words of someone who's been there for 3.5 years, who has not made a difference in your life? How? Why?
Plus, they're catering, giving all the gibs to the new folks they brought in. And taking that away from you.
Well, people have to be smart enough to realize that when someone gives you something, it ain't free.
Right there's your problem.
Not my problem. You see what I do every damn day.
I wouldn't be shocked if something happens in the next 21 days where we need to be forced to go back to like paper ballots and vote one day. Because Florida got all its votes done 4 years ago within 24 hours.
It was
That's
done that
how, that's how
night.
it should be.
That's what Governor Youngkin said. We don't have machines that are tied into the internet. We have paper ballots. We have a counter. Remember when we were all in schools? You sat there, you filled out a circle, circle, circle. Teacher took it, put it through a machine. You had a grade right there. That simplicity is where we are, and it needs to happen. Because unless you have faith and confidence in the election, you don't have anything. You got a bunch of bogus bullshit, guys. You really do. So you go to Wisconsin. You know what a state we forgot? Minnesota. Walt State. Possibly. Perv. I don't know.
Something.
Time will tell.
Manly. Very manly.
Not really.
knows how to shoot a gun.
I didn't
As
see
we've
him shoot a
seen.
gun. You got Nevada.
Owns a gun.
Maybe. Allegedly.
Maybe.
Borrowed a gun.
Nevada. What's keeping Nevada to go one way or the other? Who created I don't want to tax your tips? That would have been Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But guess who jumped on the bandwagon, Scooter?
Well, it's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
And Kamala Harris, came up with it.
And there's a lot of other things that should be taxed too.
Yeah.
That's coming up. That's coming up.
Which he's talked about.
Yep.
Overtime.
Yes.
Tips.
It'll start there.
Payroll.
Payroll.
Social Security.
It's just unbelievable. We've gotten to a point where, well, let's say this country was founded on, you want to tax my paper and sugar 2%, I'm not for it. Now we're being taxed on our income, estate tax, property, and then we
But
go out and buy stuff and
2
get taxed on
years
that.
after we'd fought for the freedom to not pay taxes on that crap, the Whiskey Rebellion started, and they sent the army after the guys that wasn't paying taxes.
But guess all those people who came here, Gonzo, they didn't want anything for free.
Which one? Which people are you talking about?
The Indians.
Not the ones coming over now.
Correct.
Okay.
You mean in 1776?
Yeah.
Well, I think we too, back then, if you didn't work for something, you weren't
die.
getting it. You die. Exactly. Now we've created a system where you can qualify for a check every month and just pray that it keeps coming. Mm-hmm. And if you keep voting a certain way, they tell me it's going to keep coming.
Well, one of the things we've been all over, but as you guys have been driving around from Missouri to Florida, California, to North Carolina, to Tennessee, to Ohio, I'm sure you guys have noticed all of the political signs that every politician has out there, from school board to councilman to president.
Yeah, they've got 30 in a row.
What
the side of the road.
slogan have you seen that got your attention, or what slogan did you see that you were like, what the hell is that?
I forget who it was.
Which
but
year?
This year.
Oh.
There
this
was
year.
one. I wish I remember who it was, but they made the sign in such a way where, let's say, for example, it said like Kamala Harris in big letters, but then it said like "Don't vote for" in small letters on top, or something like that. It was like a gotcha kind of sign.
Did you make that?
I wish I could take credit for that. but- Other than
Scooter,
that-
give me something.
Well, let's talk about Kamala Harris's new program she would like to envision. Opportunity Agenda.
That someone wrote for her, probably.
To make 1 million forgivable loans in the amount of $20,000 available only to black men to start a business. Champion education, training, and mentorship programs that help black men get good paying jobs in high demand industries and lead their communities. Supporting regulatory framework for cryptocurrency and other digital assets so black men who can invest and own these assets are protected. Launching a national health equity initiative focused on black men that addresses sickle cell disease, diabetes, and mental health, prostate cancer, and other health challenges that disproportionately impact them. Legalizing recreational marijuana and creating opportunities for black Americans
Hold
to
on.
succeed
You
in this new
just
industry.
profiled legalizing recreational marijuana. Does she think that's only for African Americans?
She probably does.
Well, this is
Well,
a woman who
Flip that and see what happens.
This is a woman who incarcerated more African American men in California by her being the Attorney General, Scooter. It's a joke. It's a
And didn't
farce.
release
She's
them after
telling
their time
people
was
what
up.
they want to hear. Please vote for me. Hey, you vote for me, I'll give you, what did you say, 20 grand?
Yeah.
You're buying votes.
Absolutely.
Enough. Look in the mirror right now. You don't have shit. The only way you're going to have something in the future is having a person who cares about you. The African American man community, lowest unemployment was under Donald Trump. The only thing that crashed that was
COVID.
COVID or the China disease. Either or, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty good chance we paid the event.
Yeah, you just said COVID twice.
I did.
Yeah.
COVID.
So is that $20,000? Is that like a loan they have to pay back anyways?
Completely forgivable.
So we're
So
paying
it's
for it
just like-
somehow.
That's free money.
So we're paying for it anyways.
So
Someone's
that's
paying
just
for it.
like you, not you, JB, but someone.
Thank God.
Maybe BJ.
BJ going to college, getting a degree, then that African American that just got his 20 grand is going to pay to repay that student loan. All right, guys, so it's about time to wrap it up. As always, walk the plank. Whatever's been on your heart, been on your ship, let's get it off. JB. Don't say that, Cyber Tesla.
I think the second hurricane hit Florida probably more direct than the first one, and I think Tampa is hurting Sarasota, many other cities are pretty big. A lot of people that are underwater and flooded right now. So I really want to walk the plank. Not only Helene, but also Milton. So
It's a good one. That's a
Fuck
good
Milton.
one. Scooter?
I wish Duke Power would get my friend's electric back on because he's wearing his brand new generator completely out, and it's very annoying.
Is it the power company or is it the generator company?
Either one, I don't care. Get it fixed.
Well, very fortunate to have power. Gonzo?
I'm not sure. I didn't think this far. I forgot Walk the Plank existed for a minute, but I would say if I come up with something right now, not me personally, but I wish that just in general, we would walk ignorance off the plank. Whether
Can't be
it's no, yeah, we can only hope. Whether it's talking about something you don't know about or voting because you are told how to vote and you don't actually do your own research. I think a lot of people nowadays are just talking to hear themselves talk and not actually saying anything of substance because they don't actually know what they're talking about. So I would hope and pray that someday, at least a majority of us could learn to be more educated, do our own research, and not speak out of ignorance. And not have a problem with asking, hey, I don't know about this. Can you tell me about it? Or, go do your own research.
Can we circle back to that?
Maybe. I'll circle back to that next week.
I've got 2 walk the planks. One's pretty funny, and it actually pissed me off. I would like every drive-through cashier who packs the bags of food, who do not pack a straw in the bag when you order a drink, and you drive away, and you don't have a drink. You have a drink that you can't drink because you don't have a damn straw. Pay attention to what you're doing. But I'm going to piggyback off of you, Gonzo, on a serious note. I would like everyone in this time, in atmosphere, and environment that we're in with the political scene, I would like everyone who doesn't have the ability to have an open mind in the dialogue to be able to hear the difference in someone's opinion and be able to converse about it appropriately to where you understand whether you agree or not, but you know where the person's coming from. I don't want anyone to vote for someone because of their color. I say this all the time. Put a blindfold on and listen to the words that you're hearing. If the words resonate with you, that you want to have more money, that you would like to be able to afford your groceries, that you would like to be able to have the power on at your house, afford a nice house, and not watch other people have the things that you dream of and desire, where you can get up and feel confident when you get up that morning that you bring value to your life. That's what I want to get off the ship.
Very nice. And also keep an open mind about checking the link down below to get yourself some Black Heart gear, just like this one right here. Check out this shirt. Look at that.
Remember, you too can win this.
Yes. We're going to be doing more giveaways in the future, but until then, definitely check out the gear. There's a lot of gear on there right now, and there's a lot more coming I've seen.
Yep.
So a lot of different stuff for you to check out. But I wanted to thank, of course, JB as always for being here. Scooter, thanks for joining us. And of course, the man himself, Robb Crocker.
Thank all of y'all. 21 days to get it right. Let's go.
Let's do it.